Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. And should I even ask how we're doing today?
I'm doing great. Great.
How about them Cowboys?
No. Oh,
hey, first place, baby.
No.
First place, baby.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Get up. I want you to stand in front of there. Where's your jersey? How about this? No, how would you know how you do it, Skip? You know how you got your first win? You came out here. How about them Cowboys?
How about that Tom Brady on Sunday? We're going to talk about that later also.
Skip.
Can't wait.
You've been a Bucs fan. There was the Buccaneers wasn't even thought of when you were a Cowboy fan. And
but
now
I'm
you're
a Brady fan, and I still am and always have been.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Skip. You left your team.
Okay, it was nice to see the Tom Brady jersey yesterday, but unfortunately no Cowboys jersey this morning because the Cowboys' first game without Dak Prescott couldn't have gone much worse as Dallas got blown out 38-10 by Arizona last night. Ezekiel Elliott fumbled on back-to-back possessions in the first half that led to quick Cardinals touchdowns, and Andy Dalton threw 2 interceptions while he tried to keep the Cowboys afloat. Meanwhile, Dallas's defense struggled yet again, giving up 261 rushing yards, allowing Arizona to score touchdowns on 4 straight possessions that put the game out of reach midway through the third quarter. So, Shannon, what was the biggest reason the Cowboys got blown out last night?
Well, before I go into that, Skip, from what I've seen this year and what I've seen a little bit of last year, Buda Baker is the best safety in football, and I will provide no more commentary, no more comments at this time on that issue. The reason why they lost, Skip, is...
What was that about?
Did you watch him last night? You say you like to see guys that flash.
Yeah.
Did he flash?
Sure he did.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but your point is what?
I said before...
Are you arguing against some other safety or what?
No. I said before.
Okay, we all saw that. We get that. That's why I picked the Cardinals to be a wild card team, and you laughed at me. Aha. But thank you for bringing that up.
I also laughed at you when you said the Cowboys would win 12 games. I laughed
I
at
did not say that's a lie.
Well, okay,
that's a flat-out lie.
What was the record?
10.
Okay, they're going to get 10.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to win the East.
No, you said 10 wins.
Yeah.
Okay, now what I was...
Okay. Did you predict my quarterback would be gone for the year?
Okay, let me finish.
Yeah.
To make my point, the reason why the Cowboys lost this ball game last night is that their defense is historically bad through the first 6 games, and Zeke turned the football over. So when you turn the football over, Skip, and your defense is historically bad, you want to minimize how many snaps your defense is actually on the field. You don't want to put them out there and put them on short fields any more than you absolutely possibly can. And so once they did that, they turned the ball over because now they're really bad in turnover margins, Skip. They were already bad going into it. So now you turn the ball over again 4 times. So let this sink in. The Cowboys teams have scored on every single possession in which the Cowboys have turned the football over. You're going to lose more times than not. They don't have one of these defenses, Skip. If you turn the ball over, they might can hold them to a field goal or they might can force a punt. They got teams driving. Kyler Murray comes out first play, 80 yard, boom, throws it back. So that lets you know just they're giving up 36 points a game. And yesterday, Skip, I said, if you force me, I would say Andy Dalton is the best quarterback in the NFC East. That was an indictment on the quarterback play in that division. That wasn't an endorsement of Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is who I thought he was. Under his watch, he played 13 games last year. They got the #1 overall pick. That Andy Dalton did that. For me, Skip, I believe it's going to get, there's something going on here. Now, I don't know if they're watching film. Maybe they have these Zoom things, Skip. But they act as if they didn't know Kyler Murray had escapability, that he could roam. What I'm seeing is that what they saw on film is that the Cowboys' defensive ends, they like to get nosy and play the run inside. And guess what? Kyler Murray... Yeah. You see how Kyler Murray kept getting the edges?
I didn't notice getting nosy playing the run inside. I've been watching close. I ain't seen none of that.
So explain to me how Kyler Murray kept getting around the edge.
What did I tell you while he was in college?
No, Skip,
I told you when he was in college. Wait, you asked me a question. I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
I told you in college quickest feet I've seen since Barry Sanders, and you laughed at me. Okay. And what did you see last night, Mr. Sharp Hall of Famer? What did you see on display? They're the most electric feet I've seen since Barry Sanders.
Okay, all that being said,
yes.
If you know he has electric feet, how in the hell do the Cowboys keep letting him get the edge? Answer me that, Mr. 40-year vet in the media.
Jalen Smith spied him every freaking play. Every play, Jalen Smith, who ran 4.5 coming out. And Kyler is so quick that even with the spy, he was beating the spy to the flank every time. Yeah. Every time.
If you know that,
thank you.
If you know Jalen
Thank you for bringing that up.
If you know
Appreciate
Jalen Smith is spying, the ends have to come upfield so Jalen Smith can meet him. If you let him get the edge, Skip, even from that position, as fast as Kyler Murray is, Jalen Smith is not going to be able to catch him. If you let him get the edge, you have to keep him contained. That's what you do. You box him in. You don't let him get the edge. All that being said is that Zeke turned the football over, and he's going to have it's in his head now because we've seen this over the last 3 games, Skip, and that was a problem that Zeke really never had before, is turning the football over. But when your defense is as bad as the Cowboys and your offense puts them in harm's way, you get this on a Monday night. But I'm not surprised by this because now, at some point in time, we blame Chris Richard. We blame Jason Garrett. Who was the defensive coordinator before? Rod Marinelli. We blame Rod Marinelli. Now they got a new defensive coordinator. They got a new head coach. And a lot of those same players that we placed the blame on Chris Richard, on Rod Marinelli, and Jason Garrett are still there, and they're worse. So I need to know, is it still coaching or is it those players?
I'm glad you brought up the new head coach. He deserves much of the blame for what has been happening for 6 games because my team very easily could be 0-6.
Absolutely.
And the new head coach, for some reason, is not pushing any of the right emotional buttons in his team because I continue to see them come out ready to play, I think, and then get blown off the field and quit. I see it again and again and again. Is it my turn now?
It's your turn. Okay. Before you go, Skip, one thing. Just imagine if Kyler Murray had played really well throwing the football. He completed 9 passes, Skip. Just imagine if he was Kyler Murray, the Kyler Murray that you believed that he was going to be coming out of college. Might have been 50-10.
You were right. He got off to a shaky start. His coach thought he was a little too pumped for a home game, back home in his home area. He's from Allen, which is just north of Dallas, a suburb, basically. I am so tired of watching both the 2019 and the 2020 Cowboys because the nightmare just keeps repeating over and over and over again. And now I had to endure a Monday nightmare.
Massacre.
It's just hard to stomach after a while when this team has known such heights of greatness, such epic achievement in the distant past that I grew up with. It's hard to watch what is happening right now because let's just take this year. With Dak Prescott still at quarterback, they fell behind quickly to the Rams 7-0. They hung in that game. So that was actually the best game they played all year. Dak threw a beautiful deep ball to Gallup at the end. He got called for a push-off, which I thought was completely bogus. But they lost, as usual. And then here we went. The Falcons come to Jerry World. The Cowboys were down 20-0 after the first quarter and 29-10 at halftime.
Yes.
And they miraculously stole a victory, and I still don't know how they did it, but they did it. And then they go to Seattle, and they're down 30-15 in the third quarter, which actually feels respectable given what's been happening. And then Cleveland comes to Jerry World. Cleveland, we saw Cleveland just stink it up.
Lay it in.
Okay, lay a big old goose egg. Cleveland had my Cowboys at home down 41-14 in the third quarter and rushed for 307 yards. The New York Football Giants, who now have 1 win to their name so far this year, they had my team down with Dak at quarterback 17-3 in the second quarter at home. And then last night happened. It was 21-3 at half. Then it was 31-3 in the third quarter, and it ended up 38-10. And I guess my only solace last night was at least Aaron Rodgers can relate to what it feels like to lose 38-10 because he just did it at Tampa. So that's my only tiny little takeaway of any ray of light from what happened last night. To your points, this team has by far the worst defense in football. And yet the irony last night was they actually came out playing pretty well on defense. They were flying around. Wolf Hunter is back. Leighton Vander Esch. I think he made it through the whole game. Big old number 55. He didn't do a whole lot, but at least he didn't get hurt.
Right.
And that's like a victory, right? A small victory.
Yeah,
moral
that's a
victory.
win for him.
It is a big win. And they made Kyler and company punt the first 3 times, and I thought, you know what? Maybe we're seeing some signs of life here. Now we're to turnover differential. This is beyond bad. This is minus 12 through 6 games. It's impossibly bad because they lead by 5. They are the worst by 5 in takeaway turnovers. The Eagles and the Vikings are minus 7. They're minus 12. Really? Minus 12? How can you do that? They have the fewest takeaways in football at minus 3, so the defense will not take the ball away.
Right.
And they have turned it over by far the most times, 15-12 for the Vikings and Eagles. As you know, that is a recipe not just for losing, it's for disaster.
Absolutely.
Okay. So worst defense and turnover differential. And now on points allowed off turnovers, they are a minus 74. They've given up 74 points off turnovers. That's the worst in the last 20 years through the first 6 games.
Yes.
Think about that. This is historically bad on all fronts.
That was worse than, I think the 13 Texans, and that was the year they got Jadeveon Clowney with the #1 overall pick. They were 2-14.
Got it. Would you believe that now my defense has fallen all the way to 2nd in rush yards allowed, 2nd in the league, and just barely 2nd. They're almost 1st because the Texans have given up 178 a game. They've given up, my Cowboys, 173 a game. And remember, 307 to Cleveland, and now last night, 216 to Arizona.
Skip, and the thing,
216?
What should have been embarrassing, Skip, is that the last play, Arizona's just trying to run out the clock, Skip.
Yeah.
Gone. And he hits his head on the goalpost from 70.
It's quit. Okay, so here's my biggest takeaway. Last night, Andy Dalton was the least of my problems.
Right.
The biggest of my problems was the best player on the field for my team, and it's Ezekiel Elliott. Shannon, I keep telling you, I keep waiting to see good old Zeke, and I see shell of self. I thought maybe he would come out last night possessed to win one for his best friend, Dak. He dedicated the season to Dak Prescott, who suffered a freakish accident of a tragic injury that cost him the rest of the year. I still can't quite process how it happened. And I thought Zeke, after the burst we saw at the end of the Giants game in which he scored and held up a #4 for his #4, Dak Prescott, and I thought we were going to get to see this last night about 3 or 4 times. And I saw tiny little bursts early, but I saw unfocused. I saw not completely into it, because you've seen running backs come out and just like Ronald Jones right now for Tampa, he just comes out and he plays with a rage, and he's going to get 100 whether you like it or not. Zeke has now gone 6 straight games to start this year without going over 100 yards. That has something, if not a lot, to do with you fall behind so quickly.
Right.
But he's 3rd on the team in catches because they target him a lot.
That's not a good thing, though.
But he's not doing much with the balls that he catches because he's 31st in yards per catch among those qualified who catch. So he's averaging 6.4 per catch. It's not enough.
No.
He's not hurting you. He's not making you pay.
Those passes, Skip, are behind or near the line of scrimmage.
They are. So first fumble occurs. What happens? Andy Dalton actually did a nice job of escaping the blitz rush because Vance Joseph, which as he should have been, was all over him.
He was bringing gas.
Bringing just the house.
He was.
He was bringing 4 houses. They were coming from everywhere, and Andy Dalton did a nice job of escaping, and he flipped it to Zeke. And when the play occurred, my first thought was, he'll break this one loose for 20 yards because there'll be nobody home in the middle of the field.
Right, because they came on the blitz.
And your man Buddha was on the spot, and he got a hand on the football, and it's loose, and it's fallen upon by a red jersey.
I don't think Zeke didn't anticipate. Skip, because the thing is, Zeke sees the blitz. He's like, okay, I got this. I'm gone now.
He thought he was gone.
And he relaxed.
I thought he was gone.
Yes.
And then we turn it right around before I can even catch my breath a series or so later, and he fumbles again and gets stripped. And the first one allowed a 54-yard drive, but the second one allowed a 27-yard drive to the 14-0 touchdown. It won't work. And what happened was the defense played inspired for a little while, but after you go fumble, all of a sudden even the defense is saying, okay, that's enough.
Here we go again.
And then it comes down to 19 seconds left in the first half. And Andy Dalton actually drove them down and made a couple of good throws. And he made a very good throw to Michael Gallup at the goal line. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be 21-7. Here it is. And they get the ball to start the second half. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe they can climb back into this game. We can have sort of a mini Dak here rally. And Michael Gallup, who's been his favorite target so far, you just have to snag that one. You just have to catch it, okay? And it rips what's left of your heart out because it's 21-3 at halftime. And then, if I could, then we get to the third quarter, and even the refs are just looking down their nose at this team because CeeDee Lamb, their stud rookie, he gets open, I thought, for a second, and Drake Kirkpatrick just tackles him in the middle of the field, just tackles him. And Andy Dalton throws it where he thinks CeeDee is going to break to, and it's just a tackle, and the primary receiver becomes Drake Kirkpatrick, and it's an interception. After they had moved the ball, he just hit Amari for 26 yards, and I thought, okay, maybe they'll make it respectable, and then the ceiling fell in.
Skip, aren't you asking yourself, where is CeeDee Lamb? Where is Amari Cooper when the score is 7-0? Where are these guys when it's 14-0? Where are these guys? It seems to me that they can't find these guys until they're down 21-3 or 41-14. Where are these guys in the meantime, Skip? Are they not there?
Good question. Okay, here's the worst insult to injury. I've gone from the best offensive line in football to, and I'm not exaggerating, the worst offensive line in football. I had one stud lineman left last night going into this game, and his name is Zach Martin. And mid-first quarter, he gets kneed in the head by my own guy, Zeke. If it had been a Cardinal who kneed him in the head, I'd take it, but Zeke got him right in the head and knocked him woozy, and he teeters off the field. It was a 4-yard gain, and kaboom, right in the head.
That's the one that gets you right there.
Got him good. And number 70 is out of the game, concussed.
Yes.
And I don't know if he'll be ready for Washington. They have to go to Washington or not. So I want you to think about this. I'm down to 2 undrafted free agents. One of them a rookie, one a second-year player at my tackles in place of Ty Smith and Lyle Collins. Those are Pro Bowlers. They're all pro-quality tackles, right?
Ty Smith is on the Hall of Fame.
Hey, he's on a Hall of Fame. He probably will be in the Hall of Fame. As you well know, my center, Travis Frederick, was forced to retire. So you have a rookie from Wisconsin in at center right now, a 4th-round pick. It's a little shaky if you're... okay.
He ain't Frederick.
Okay. So now I have at right tackle a Connor McGovern who'd been viewed as something of a bust so far because he was...
McGovern Williams.
But he replaced Zach Martin.
You got 2 Connors.
2 Connors. But he's from Penn State, a 3rd-round pick, so he's in his 2nd year, but he hadn't been able to do much, and he got thrown into the fire last night. And Connor Williams has been the weakest link when it was the best offensive line. The weakest link was Connor Williams, and he's still left at left guard, unfortunately. So those 5 are trying to protect a quarterback who got thrown into the red blazing Arizona fire last night, the desert fire. And what do you think's going to happen? Well, mostly Andy Dalton's going to be running for his life. And that's pretty much the sum story of the night.
And they're generating this kind of pressure without their best pass rusher in Chandler Jones. Can you imagine had he been healthy in that game? Andy Dalton, they might have had to just snap the ball to the running back and just say, take off, son, because we can't block here. But anytime you give it away, and you don't take it away, as you mentioned, it's a recipe for disaster. And they're giving it away at an alarming rate. Skip, you don't expect your defense to take the ball away 4 times a game, but you damn sure don't expect your offense to turn it over. And what we're seeing is that they're turning it over. They're 6 games in. They have, 50? So they're only 2.5, almost 2.5 turnovers a game. And you got 3. So you're getting 0.5 turnovers per game, creating 0.5. Well, your defense is so bad is that, okay, you might force them to a field goal. Skip, they get in touchdowns. They're not getting that. You're not making them punt. It doesn't matter where you turn the ball over. The team is taking that football and driving it down the field. And so I think Zeke is also, Skip, Zeke is pressing. Zeke is like, I got to do something. I got to do something. I got to do something. And as you mentioned, says, I want to dedicate this season. He's trying to do too much. Just go back to being Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott is good enough without adding this extra burden on his plate because he knows, Skip, defensively, we're not that good. And if I don't have a 100-yard game, if I don't control this tempo, we're going to drop back the pass. He see all those guys. He's like, well, hell, I can barely run. No Ty Smith, no Lyle Collins, no Zach Martin, no Travis Frederick, Connor Williams. Ooh. And so he's like, and he's trying to do too much, Skip. He's trying to do too much. And when you try to do too much, and now what his guys have seen on tape, let's tackle the football. Damn him. Let's tackle the football. Now, he better address this. Because guys, they're going after the ball now, Skip. Because they know, and he's going to be more conscious of it, so he's not going to be able to break the tackles that he normally would make because he's focused on the football.
Yep. If you have to wrap up, you can't have as much wiggle.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just wish that either the Eagles or the Giants or the Redskins had put me out of my misery by at least taking off, because then I could just give up and focus on Tom Brady the rest of the year.
Nope.
But they won't let me. I have to continue to watch because now we've got Thursday night Giants at Eagles.
Right.
And then Sunday we got Cowboys at Washington. And what am I supposed to do with it? Just suffer.
The two football teams.
Suffer.
Y'all should not be known as the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Dallas football team takes on the Washington football team. That's what it should be known as, because both of y'all are terrible.
Well, how can you put football in front of team? It's just a team. They're
Okay,
not even
Dallas,
a football team.
The Dallas team?
They're the Dallas team.
Skip, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
It's beyond embarrassing. Truly, last night I was just humiliated by the end of the game. It was the third worst home loss at Jerry World, but it felt like the worst.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm looking at this, Skip, and I'm watching. I'm like, dude, I mean, I pulled the tape, Skip. Watch this. I want this touchdown run here by Kenyon Drake. We got that copy. You watch what they do to Alden Smith. He's in the circle. Look at this, Skip. Look where he is. He's 5 yards deep in the end zone. Look at this, Skip.
I don't know. I can't explain it.
And like I said, the last play, Skip, we just want a first down. Hey, we're in our 4-minute package. We just want to get a first down. And the guy hits his head on the goalpost in a situation like that. That's unacceptable. See, I think what has happened, Skip, is that we look at all the guys that have gotten big dollars. And it says, okay, they got to be good. But you tell me, outside of that game that your guy had last week where he called that strip sack and he got a scoop and score, you tell me he's lived up to $21 million.
He has not.
Skip, that's one sack. That's 1.5 sack in about 18, 19 games for $21 million. Jalen Smith, Skip, that's why I told you last week, I said, Skip, I understand that Pro Football Focus said it pro. Ain't no way you play that good one week and then you drop completely off the following week. That's unacceptable. And guess what? You're running out of, because you blame Rob Marinelli, you blamed Chris Richard, you blame Jason Garrett. You're running out of people to blame because you got a new head coach, a new D-line coach, a new D coordinator.
And a new head coach.
Told y'all overvalued him.
They're not responding to. They are not responding to Mike McCarthy.
Yeah. That guy up in Green Bay that's still up there, he's special. He bailed that guy out a lot. And what you're seeing right now is that when you don't get exemplary, and Dak has played well, this is only 6 games. I mean, he was playing well, playing from behind, but you can't play. That just lets you know. Think about if Aaron Rodgers was not as historically great as he's been, what the Packers would be, because the Packers had some defenses like that. They finished, Aaron Rodgers had that team 15-1 the year Eli came there and beat them. They had the 32nd ranked defense in football, but they were 15-1 because Aaron Rodgers was MVP and was exemplary. Well, if you don't get that kind of quarterback play and your defense is that bad, that's what it looks like on Monday night.
We're going to discuss just how historically great Aaron Rodgers hasn't been, but that's coming up in a few minutes here on Undisputed. Thank you.
He hasn't been.
Hasn't been.
He's been better than the Cowboys.
I worry about you, Skip, watching those games.
I don't.
The video you
I would love it.
Stressed out. I know, Shannon, you got to feel for him just a little
I know.
bit.
And stop tweeting. Ain't no referees. And stop tweeting. Michael Gallup. No, I don't want to see your tweet. Do not tweet.
I appreciate you following me.
A lot of videos. Just the video of you with big size, Skip. That's the one I was watching.
No mercy.
The Chiefs bounced back from their first loss of the season by beating the Bills 26-17 yesterday. While the rain kept Patrick Mahomes' arm in check, Buffalo didn't have an answer for Kansas City's rushing attack. Rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire had career highs with 26 carries and 161 rush yards. And the Chiefs' offense managed to play keep away from the Bills, who only had the ball for 6 minutes in the second half. So, Shannon, how impressive were Mahomes and your Chiefs?
They put on a clinic. It was hilarious. It's taking the Ro Jones approach, Skip. Oh, y'all gonna sign Leonard Fournette? He ain't gonna get no carries. Y'all sign Le'Veon Bell? He ain't gonna get no carries.
That's true.
I'm gonna make sure y'all remember that you took me in the first round and I can run the football. They ran the football with conviction. 37 minutes time of possession. That's what they own. And as Jenny mentioned in the read, is that Pat Mahomes was Patrick. Mom doesn't want you to call him Pat. My homeboy was 21 of 26, 225, and 2 touchdowns. Well, he didn't have to do a whole lot as far as throwing the football because they were running the football so effectively. But on third down, Skip, they were 9 of 14 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. And you see what Mahomes can do with his legs, Skip. There were some plays that, you know, they're only up 6. And Buffalo had gotten momentum. If he doesn't scramble out of the pocket and completes this pass to Pringle, who knows what would have happened? Well, we'll never know. And there's one they had him pinned on the sideline, Skip. He's about to throw it. He realized he's past the line of scrimmage. He backs up, looked like he's about to throw it again, and then did it. I like, where you get that from? It's over, Skip. It's over.
Really?
Yeah. We ain't never seen anybody do. We've never seen anybody in a complete package like this. Maybe guys can throw the ball, but could do all of this? You think Tom Brady could have did that? No.
Absolutely. Tom Brady owned Buffalo at Buffalo.
Yeah.
You want to go back and see how many times he beat Buffalo at Buffalo?
I'm talking about the plays that Mahomes was making with his legs. You think Brady could have done that?
No.
Okay. But I don't know, Skip, if you're going to let Patrick Mahomes have the ball for 37 minutes and you're going to let them run for 200 yards, Buffalo better be glad the conditions will work like they work. Can you imagine on a dry day and they give up 37 minutes time of possession? Pat Mahomes might have threw for 300 plus, 400 yards, and they'd still add 200 yards rushing. They put on a clinic. Look, let's not discount Buffalo just yet. People make it seem like, oh, Buffalo, they dropped off a cliff. They lost to a team that hadn't lost a game yet, and they lost to a team that's only lost 1 game. So let's just hold up before we bury Buffalo. I still think they're good. But the MVP talk with Josh Allen, he's still up and coming. I like what he's doing. But Buffalo is not dead just yet, especially in that division. They lost to a very good team. The Titans might be the first or the second best team in the AFC, Skip. There's no slouch in losing to them. And it's definitely not a slouch in losing to a guy that's won the MVP and the Super Bowl, and they just won the Super Bowl last year. Yep. But this was textbook. Andy couldn't ask for a better game. I'm surprised Andy ran the ball. This is not Andy's MO, Skip, run the ball 46 times.
The most he's ever run it in his career. Okay? I'm going to remind you, that team you're raving about just a week ago lost at home to the Las Vegas Raiders and looked bad in doing so.
Raiders going to beat your Bucs on Monday night.
I thought, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
we already got a case of do on it.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Thank you.
As the week goes on, it might progress upwards.
Really? Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. This was more to me about Buffalo than it was about Kansas City. And I told you before the year that Buffalo was my dark horse AFC Super Bowl contender. And they got off to a hot 4-0 start. And Josh Allen continued his hot streak, which began somewhere around Thanksgiving last year when he took apart my Cowboys on the Thanksgiving Day stage at Jerry World.
Right.
He did a number on them with his arm and his legs because he's about 6'5", 240, and he can move.
Yeah. He's stronger than you think. He ran through some tackles yesterday.
He did. And he's obviously got a strong arm. Troy Aikman was saying on the telecast, stronger than Mahomes' arm.
I believe
on
that, too.
sheer distance.
Yes.
Just if you rear back and throw it as far as you can, that he would be able to throw it slightly farther than Mahomes.
I believe that.
Okay, but that's not how you win football games.
No.
It requires accuracy. It requires some percentage of completion. And for the first 4 games, Josh Allen was, by his standards, on fire at 71%. In the last 2, he's fallen off to 59%. Maybe he's reverting to the mean or the norm. Maybe that's who he really is.
Right.
Troy was critical of him on the broadcast, and Terry Bradshaw at halftime was really critical of him. They just say that's who he is. In the end, he's not an accurate thrower.
Right. It's kind of hard to be accurate skill when you have that big of an arm. There have been very few guys that have that kind of arm strength.
I would agree.
Because it requires touch.
Yeah.
Because he has who does he have? With a Cole Beasley. Has Cole Beasley coming on a shallow cross. All it requires is a little touch. And you got to first, he's going to turn, and
he just missed him.
Throws.
I agree. 2 best quarterbacks ever, Brady, Montana. Just slightly above average velocity.
Yes.
But deadly accurate.
Correct.
And it's eminently catchable.
Right.
It's sweetly catchable. It just begs you to catch it. Okay. So who's the real Josh Allen? Well, they went to Tennessee, and they were riding high, and they thought they had Tennessee right where they wanted the Titans because they had not been able to practice for 2 weeks.
Right.
And all the money was coming in heavy on Buffalo, and they go out, and they hung in for a little while, and then the sky fell on them.
Yes.
And they lost 42-16, and I don't think they quite got over it going into last night's game, even though it was at home. Because Josh Allen, I know the weather was inclement. It was chilly and rainy and drizzly, and the football stayed wet.
But it should be Skip. That's why they took him. He's a big kid that has a big arm that can throw in those elements. He played in Wyoming. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Wyoming, but the conditions get pretty harsh in Wyoming.
They do. And yet, he got off to a horrendous start.
Yes.
And he kept Kansas City afloat because Kansas City wasn't doing much either.
No.
And maybe it was just the weather on both sides, but he finally, Josh Allen, heated up a little bit in the second half, and it actually came down to one Edwards-Hilaire fumble that wasn't a fumble. For a second, I thought he got stripped, but he is built so low to the ground that his knee definitely touched before the ball got stripped.
Correct.
If the ball had been successfully stripped, we might be having a different conversation because they had a short field down 23-16, so it could have gone the other way.
Correct.
But it didn't. I think Buffalo is really missing Matt Milano because he destroyed my Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. He is their best linebacker. He's the unsung MVP of their defense. He's their run stopper. And they needed him last night to pick and plug the correct hole every time because there were too many gaping holes for the Kansas City running backs. Now I'm to your man, Mahomes. He ran at the Combine a 4.840, which is not bad, not bad. But it looks to me like he's put on since Texas Tech days, I don't know, 15, maybe even 20 pounds. And I'm not criticizing him because I think you need that weight to take the beating that is the NFL beating. I got you. He doesn't look very fast, but nobody plays him to be fast, so nobody's going to spy him. Nobody's going to loop their ends just to make sure they keep him in the pocket. You just want to get to him and get at him any way possible. Well, I don't know how many times this year I have thought, I think they got him. And then all of a sudden they leave a gaping lane open, and he just takes one look and says, thank you, I got this. And he looks like he's lumbering, but he's very athletic, obviously.
I don't know if he's gained that much weight. I just think the way he's built, most of his weight is distributed from waist down.
Heavy-legged.
So that's the thing. And he looked like he has small... He's not as tall as Peyton Manning, but if you look at, you remember Peyton had really narrow shoulders. And his but this kid is like solid from the waist down with narrow shoulders. So he looks heavier than probably he actually is. But I think he's probably, I would say 240, Skip.
Okay, 240. Okay, he is very athletic because, remember, he came up as a shortstop and a pitcher, but he played shortstop, and you got to be athletic to play shortstop. His father was athletic. I'll bet his mother was athletic.
Probably so.
So once he gets it in gear, I'm like, he's moving okay.
Yes.
That one run that he made in the playoff game, I didn't think he was moving very well. I thought the Titans just played flag football and decided not to tackle him.
They didn't realize how fast he was until he like, huh?
Oh, he was
We
blazing.
ain't gaining on him.
Yeah, it's like you slow the thing down to watch it in slow motion, and that's actually real time, real speed.
But the thing is, Skip, when he breaks through, he's actually looking to throw the ball. He's actually trying to buy time. You know, he'll look back and check. Like,
he is such a threat to throw on the run
you
that defenses are like,
Exactly.
And the next thing you know, he's just tippy-toeing right past the sticks, and it's a first down.
Exactly.
Now to the play in question. This was 2 minutes. You brought it up. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. If we could see it, he escapes to his left. And he goes to the sideline, and I think he's going to give himself up. He's going to give himself up. He's going to give himself up. I'm going to give myself up. Wait a second. And he actually, I think he made it.
I do too.
And Andy was furious they didn't give him a measurement. Okay, that was unfair because the rules are obviously rigged to protect the quarterback. And so everybody gave up because you can't really tackle the quarterback. So if he gives up, you got to give up. And they think he's just going to step out of bounds. And he says, no, I think I got this. And he ducks his shoulders and he plows through tacklers who are not trying to tackle him. Unfair, but advantage, my homeboy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then on the next play, Darrell Williams, wasn't it, just hit the hole, and he's gone for an easy touchdown because Buffalo, that just took their heart away right there. Here he goes, he escapes, and he's going to give himself, I got this, I'll step out of bounds. No, I won't step out of bounds, and I'll just dive right through you guys because none of you think you can actually hit me. Not fair.
It's not.
But it's crafty, my homeboy.
That's why, Skip, when you get that quarterback and he gets past the line of scrimmage and he doesn't slide down, you tear his cap off. Because they do stuff like that, Skip. You think they go, I remember, I think it was Steve Young did a play like he was going to run out of bounds, and the guy thought he was going to run out of bounds, and Steve Young kept going and got a touchdown. The Broncos were playing Sam Darnold, and they was like, oh, he's going to go down and slide. The next thing you know, he got a 48-yard touchdown run. But the next time they got him, they slammed him down, and he's still out.
If you leave that pocket of protection, and you're moving with the football, and you have crossed the line of scrimmage,
and he doesn't slide,
you're fair game.
Absolutely.
You got to hit him.
Treat him like a running back.
Correct. Thank you. Congratulations, my homeboy.
Skip. I don't know. I mean, now he got them legs. He out there looking like Mike Vick with the scrambling ability.
I wouldn't go that far.
And you looking like Mike Vick.
Yep.
Ooh, I don't know, Skip. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do with this.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I got 15 more years.
The Raiders had no problem.
Oh, they're going to have no problem with you.
Okay, we'll see about that.
I want to go back to the NFC East and the situation that is going on there, because I think we should call it a situation right now. Despite getting blown out by the Cardinals last night, the Cowboys remain in first place in the NFC East with their 2-4 record, which means everyone in the division is still within striking distance. The 1-4-1 Eagles face the 1-5 Giants on Thursday night here on Fox, and a win there could move Philly back into the driver's seat in the race for the playoffs. So, Shannon, who wins the NFC East, and what is their final record?
Skip, it shouldn't be. There are 6 teams that have the exact same record or better than the entire division of the NFC East.
Correct.
That shouldn't happen 6 weeks into a regular season where one team has as many victories as an entire division. That being said, 6 wins, probably 7 is going to win this division. The Eagles could really win this division and at 6-9-1. Skip, people keep talking about the Cowboys' injuries, but the very injuries that the Cowboys have, the Eagles have been dealing with all year. They played the lion's share of this season without their 3 best wide receivers. Now Zach Ertz is gone down. Miles Sanders is out of the ballgame. Lane Johnson is out. Barrett is out. And Jason Peters, the guy they were counting on to play left tackle, is now out. So their 3 best linemen, their 3 best receivers, and their running back, and the tight end. Can you imagine, just imagine, say, you know what, the next 2 weeks, Andy Dalton, you're going to be without CeeDee, Gallup, Zeke, and Amari, and the offensive line, and you're not getting Zach Martin back. How many games do you think the Cowboys win? At least, to give the Eagles credit, Skip, given what they've gone through, is that they're continuing to fight. Now, look at who they lost to. They lost to the Steelers, undefeated. They lost to the Ravens, 1 game. And they're arguably 2 of the best defenses in football.
Yep.
And they hung they put 26, 27 on Pittsburgh, and I think they had, 28 on Baltimore. Not bad. But given where they are in the state of this division, with the quarterback play, Skip, I don't see how anybody gets to be 500 in this division. So I'm going to say the Eagles win the division at 6-9-1 or 6-9-1. Because I'm looking at their schedule, Skip, and they got to win these next two games.
Yep.
They got to beat the Giants.
And the Cowboys.
And the Cowboys. Yes.
That's on Sunday night.
Yes.
So you got Thursday night, Sunday night.
So you get a nice little break to heal up. Hopefully they can get Sanders back in that time. It says Zach Ertz is going to be gone for about 3 or 4 weeks. They're supposed to get D-Jack back. I don't know.
I think he's going to play Thursday.
Right,
That's what they said.
They're supposed to get him back. I don't know about Alshon, and I don't know when Rager's coming back.
Yep.
But they need to win this game here and then heal up and get ready for the Cowboys. I think that's a Sunday night game, Skip. But to think somebody's going to get a home playoff game, Skip, and they're probably not going to be 500 is kind of embarrassing.
So this is a case for which the commissioner should be given power to disqualify a division and give the wild card somewhere else. Give it to the NFC West. Because somebody's going to get eliminated in the NFC West that will deserve to be in the playoffs far more.
Everybody might be above 500 in the NFC West.
Thank you. This is all-time embarrassing. I told you to open the show. I'm embarrassed for my team that it's even in this division, because this division allows them to barely stay afloat when they shouldn't be able to. If it weren't for the NFC least, maybe Jerry Jones would be thinking about firing Mike McCarthy already. He might be, because it would be so over that he'd say, gee, we easily could be 0-6. Instead, they're 2-4, and they're still in first place in the least. The truth is about this division, and I think you would agree with this, it hasn't even started yet. If you're going to give me a credible champion from this division, we're actually going to talk about somebody's going to win it and make the playoffs with a home game. Right. Well, the truth is it has not begun yet. Right. It's just now starting with these division clashes, if I can put quotes around clashes, Thursday night and Sunday. Obviously, you got Giants at Eagles here on Fox, and then you got Cowboys at the Washington football team on Sunday. It used to be a rivalry, no more, because it's a pathetic matchup of bad football teams. Bad football team. Okay. I'm going to hang in with my team because my team still has the easiest remaining schedule. And to me, your team, the Eagles, has the toughest remaining schedule. I believe in my heart of hearts that right here, right now, your team is still a little bit better than my team because your defense is a lot better than my defense. I agree. I still have my 3 wide receivers healthy, so that means I always have some kind of chance. Right. And we're going to talk more about Andy Dalton later. But the only silver lining for me last night was Andy Dalton got the equivalent of extended preseason action in a blowout. All that happened was he got to actually, against a decent defense, he actually got a bunch of reps in the blowout where he's trying to figure out, oh, Gallup does that. Or, oh, Amari likes that route a lot. And I got a sense that we're on a good wavelength on this route. So he's smart enough, he's been around enough that maybe he started to figure some things out last night. So maybe it wasn't all for naught. Okay. You said yesterday, Andy Dalton's the best quarterback in the division. Well, he's definitely the best backup quarterback. Right. He did not play overall great last night. Skip, that's not an endorsement of Andy Dalton. No, it's an indictment of Carson Wentz, the guy that you love.
And Danny Dimes and Haskins or Allen or whomever else may be the quarterback in that division.
So I'm going to say it again. I am not writing off the New York Football Giants. I'm not, because they still have a decent football team given the lack of competition in this division. Right. So it will not surprise me if they make a run. And by the way, they're only a game out of first as we sit right now, right?
Look, consider they got 1 win and the team that's leading the division has 2.
I got it. Okay, and they barely survived for the 1 win because Washington went for 2 to win the game, right? Okay. Yes. So this is the division you don't watch. You rubberneck this division, right? You watch it like it's a car wreck. Okay, so my Cowboys, what is going to happen? They're going to get Randy Gregory back. I love Randy Gregory. I hope he can stay eligible for the rest of the year. He's had all kinds of issues with substance abuse in his career, and he's been suspended multiple times, but he is back. And they said he's practicing at a high level. He can really rush the passer off the edge. So it'll give him another weapon, more depth in the pass rush. Okay? Early on last night, I saw more flashes, signs of life from my defense. I think it could be a decent defense, but the numbers right now are historically bad.
Well, Skip, in order for them to be decent, they're going to have to be historically good.
Okay.
As bad as they've been over the first 6 games, they're going to have to be historically great just in order to get to be average.
Okay, I got it. But I look down the stretch at your schedule, the Eagles, and obviously it's
more
going to come
difficult
down.
than yours.
Well, it just is because they have the easier games now. They get the Giants, Cowboys at home, and then they go to the Giants.
Yes.
Okay, fine. And then here we go. At Cleveland. I don't think that's a gimme.
No.
You never know about the Browns, but I don't think it's a gimme. Then it's Seahawks on Monday night at home, at Green Bay, Saints at home, at Kyler, and then at Cowboys to end it.
Well, that's where it's so difficult because because they won the division. They got the 3 division winners. They got the Saints. They got Green Bay, Seattle, all in consecutive weeks.
Okay, and it could come down to the season ender at Jerry World. Well, last year it came down to the game that was at Philly, and my team lost 17-9. Dak had a bum shoulder. He couldn't practice that week. He wasn't very good in the game. He missed Tavon Austin with the pass that could have at least tied the game, set him up to go for 2 and tie, force overtime. But I'm looking at this one that maybe the Cowboys could be good enough by the last game to win it and get to 7 wins. That's what it's going to take. I got 7 and 9 for Dallas. I still believe that they could steal this division and actually win the right to get blown out at home in a playoff game, because that's what would happen.
Because you still have Pittsburgh, you still have Baltimore, you still have San Francisco on your schedule. I think the thing is, for the most important, you guys are going to have to win these next 2 games, although they're on the road. You're going to really need to beat Washington and Philly, Skip. You're gonna have to because you got
Washington.
Because you got Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh looks really. Now you think your quarterback was under duress. That's one thing the Steelers do. They get after your quarterback.
They do.
Keith Butler will dial up pressure. Bud Dupree.
I can already tell you that's a big L, and I might not even watch that game because that could be 40-10.
Your backup might get an opportunity to play in that game because they're going to be coming off the edge. Yeah. I just don't see a scenario where someone is 500 and win this division. Someone can get to 7. Someone's going to be 7 and 9 and win this division.
I still got the Eagles finishing 5-10 and 1. Wow. And I don't think that's good enough. It might be. I don't know.
Skip, there ain't no way. The commissioner got to. The NFC East, you're not going anywhere. If somebody wins the division at 5-10 and 1, no, you can't go. No.
Well, guess what?
No.
They will.
Get out. No. They should be banned. Like you said, the commissioner should have certain powers to say, you know what? Somebody in the NFC West, you're 9 and 7. You're going to represent the NFC because we can't have this.
Okay. So you are still sticking barely with the Eagles?
I'm barely sticking with them. I'm holding on by a thread.
Okay.
But Thursday night's going to tell me a lot.
It will. I agree.
It's going to tell me a lot.
It'll be a very interesting battle at Philly.
No mercy.
The Packers are still recovering from their first loss of the season, and Aaron Rodgers spoke bluntly about his team's mindset after getting blown out by the Bucs, saying, quote, "I think we needed a kick in the bleep a little bit." We all know Tom Brady already has more Super Bowls and MVPs than Rodgers, but now Rodgers also dropped to 1-2 in his career as a starter head-to-head against TB12. So, Shannon, how much did Sunday's loss at Tampa tarnish Aaron Rodgers and that legacy?
Nothing. Did absolutely nothing. It's a Week 6 matchup. They don't very rarely. This is only the 3rd meeting between the 2 guys, Skip. And Aaron Rodgers has been in the league, 14 years now? Tom Brady's been in the league 21 years. So this is only the 3rd meeting in that length of time. So in a Week 6 matchup, this does nothing. For me, I guess people just want to forget that through the first 4 games, Aaron Rodgers was averaging over 300 yards passing. He had thrown 13 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. So now he has 2 interceptions and 13 touchdowns. Nah, Skip. This does absolutely nothing. Tom Brady won the game. The Bucs won the game, propelled by awesome, ferocious defense. But to say that this game had an impact on Aaron Rodgers' legacy, I don't see how. I don't see this at a I don't see regular season matchups as impacting legacy because they say playoffs and championships games is what. Now, if he had beaten, Rodgers in the playoffs 2 or 3 times, okay, maybe we can say that. But in a regular season game, only the 3rd meeting in a Week 6 matchup, this has absolutely no impact on Aaron Rodgers' legacy.
Says you. You love him, you believe in him, almost as much as you blindly protect LeBron James.
So the 2 losses that Tom Brady has to Nicky Foles impacts his legacy.
One did.
No. He just beat him 2 weeks ago. So are you telling me Nicky Foles has impacted Tom Brady's legacy? I want to hear it. Dum-dum-dum.
Was that a clash of first ballot Hall of Famers? No. You have little to no respect for Nicky Foles.
Hold on.
Magic man.
You mean to tell me a giant, that's what you said he beat the great GOAT? When? How?
I'll deal with that in a moment.
Okay.
First, I'm going to answer this question. What happened Sunday at Tampa was that on America's Game of the Week, live coast to coast on Fox, Aaron Rodgers got exposed for what he is and what he is not.
Oh, my God.
He is the LeBron James of the National Football League. I've been saying that for years because he is not the mentally toughest competitor.
Oh.
He is the flip side of Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT only of style points and cool points and highlight show throws. I'll give you all those because that's what he is. That's what you love the most about him. Greatest thrower of the football ever. And he can make a throw or two a game where you say, that was something. He made a throw to the real MVP of the team, Aaron Jones, on 3rd and 10 early in that game on the first possession of the game, where he's moving a little to his right and hit Aaron Jones. And I said, that was a sweet throw. That was a tough one. It was a nice catch. And it was a big conversion because it looked like they were going to have to go 3 and out and punt it to Brady to start the game. And then you know what happened. He started to take over the game. And all of a sudden, he is front running and he is cool pointing it and he's doing this and he's doing this. And finally, he gets to key and peel it in the end zone.
Yeah,
right?
he that
McCringleberry. If we could see him. Yeah, do we have that? I'm not sure. Yeah, we got it. We got to see it one more time.
That's one. That three is unsportsmanlike conduct. You get a flag for 3. He started it too.
We got a flag.
I love that guy.
And that was the end of Aaron Rodgers as you knew and loved him. Because just moments later, if we could see this, he makes the mistake of trying to throw an out route into the wind, and Jamel Dean jumped all over it, and in a shock to most everybody watching, including me, he housed it, pick 6. And I think Aaron Rodgers might have been the most shocked man in the house, and up in his palatial state up in Bel Air, Shannon Sharp was on the floor on that one. What just hit me?
I couldn't believe it.
And then literally a play later, he throws another one that's tipped up in the middle of the field and off Devontae's fingertips, and all of a sudden, it's almost a second house job. It almost turned into a second pick 6. Is somebody going to stop him? And somebody finally stopped him. Yep. And that was the end of Aaron Rodgers. He unraveled. He came unglued. He turned into Kirk Cousins from there on in ways I have never seen Tom Brady fold.
Yes, you did. You watched it last year in the playoffs against Tennessee.
No, I have not ever seen that. I saw Tom Brady throw a pick 6 in a Super Bowl game against the Atlanta Falcons and fall behind 28-3, and you know the rest of the historical story because they came all the way back to win.
Remember in 2014, the Arrowhead Massacre? You didn't see Tom Brady fall apart on that Monday night game? You watched that. You watched that, remember?
I saw the defense fall apart.
No. Hold on. Whoa. And you had the people asking questions. Coach Belichick, are you thinking about benching Tom Brady? Wasn't that the questions?
And I wrote a whole column for ESPN.com. You can look it up. It ran that week. I said, Tom Brady will go win the Super Bowl now, and he did.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
It was on to Cincinnati, remember?
Yes, on to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Okay. It's hard for you to have any connection with Tom Brady because he is not cool off the field. Some people think he dresses cool, but acting, he doesn't act the part.
I definitely like the way he dressed.
Okay, he does have a model wife, obviously, but he gets a little nerdy, a little cliched, a little lame on social media.
You saw him yesterday. Oh, yeah, guys, big win yesterday. There's a big win, and,
Okay.
we're going to keep it rolling. I was like, oh, my goodness, click.
Okay. All he's done is win 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter overtime. Extraordinary. He doesn't get nearly enough credit for that because he has incredible clutch toughness. I'm talking about mental toughness, where he will fight you to the death. That's who he is, and that's who Aaron is not. Because in a huge national matchup of Titans, of the quarterback Titans, this is a titanic clash of 0 ballot Hall of Famers. Aaron just spit the bit after that. Okay. He came completely unglued in ways that I've never seen Tom just be flustered and give it up. He scored no points in the last 3 quarters.
We have seen that. We saw it in the playoff game against the Tennessee Titans last year, that he spit the bit and he looked awful. So let me ask you a question. You have little to no respect for this guy, and you say the guy closed his eyes and he threw a pass, and he's been terrible. He led the league in interceptions. Eli Manning. Mm-hmm. So Eli Manning affected Tom Brady's legacy. Is that what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm. Well, Bill Belichick did.
No, you see what you did, Skip? You talk about Bill Belichick. Why is it that everybody else can... Why is it that Tom Brady legacy doesn't get impacted by other guys beating him? It's always Coach Belichick's fault. Okay.
Tom Brady in the first Eli Super Bowl did what he always does in fourth quarters. He led a 75-yard, 12-play drive to hit Randy Moss for the winning touchdown pass to put them ahead 14-10 with 2 minutes left.
Skip.
And then what happened?
Skip, hold on.
Do you realize Eli went 83 yards in 12 plays against Belichick's vaunted defense?
Wait a minute. You averaged 37 points a game in the regular season. Tom Brady was the first unanimous MVP, threw 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and all you got me is 14 points. Coach Belichick... And would you remember
time out. If you give Bill Belichick a 4-point lead with 2 minutes left, so field goal doesn't matter, not going to get you, not going to beat you, shouldn't he close that deal?
Coach Belichick...
Didn't Tom Brady do enough? Didn't he score enough points to win that game?
Yep. I want you to do what you've been doing all season long. Ring up 37. That's what you had done all... You remember he threw 5 touchdowns in 1 quarter against the Tennessee Titans in the snow, and they kept him in the ball game, kept him pouring it on. That guy won 59-0. And Tom Brady was still throwing the ball late in the ball game. I want that Tom Brady. That's the one we wanted against little Eli. Peyton baby brother did that to him.
And then Bill Belichick cost Tom Brady another Super Bowl.
Oh, my
so he
goodness.
should have 8 because all Tom did against the Eagles had the top 5 defense that year. He just threw for a playoff record, all-time playoff record, 505 yards, and Belichick gave up to Nicky Foles, as you call him, 41 points. While Malcolm Butler was mysteriously benched for the whole game. Felt a little sabotage.
What about that first Super Bowl when Coach Belichick held the greatest show on turf?
He did.
With the offensive MVP, the MVP of the league, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Ozzie Hakeem, held all of those guys.
Belichick's greatest day. That was his greatest defensive performance
Ricky Proles,
ever.
and I think Ozzie Hakeem had already left by then.
Yep. Ricky Prohl, definitely.
Yeah. But so what about... So
it was his greatest day, but in the end, who led the game-winning drive with 5 completions?
Who threw that incomplete pass to Wes Welker? That would have iced the game. You say he the most clutch guy all these game-winning drives, and he can't even hit little old Wes.
Should Wes have caught the football?
No, he shouldn't have.
Yes, he should have. Shannon Sharp knows in his heart of hearts it was highly catchable. It was a little high and outside. I give you that.
Why was that high and outside?
He is human.
Oh, he's human now.
He misses occasional passes.
I didn't know Tom Brady was human.
Well, I do know that Aaron is very human because there have been big reports, explosive bombshell stories about his lack of leadership, how he can be a finger-pointing blame deflector.
Kind of like Tom Brady was yelling on the sideline and then the lineman
Did it work?
Did
it work?
So that's weak.
That new team needed to have Tom Brady impose his patriot will on it, and he did. He did.
So let me ask you a question. Which offensive lineman or which wide receiver yelled when he was throwing them pick sixes in his face? What are you doing, Tom? Throw it to us, not them. Which one did that?
Well, did he come back and win the game against the Chargers?
No.
Down 24-7. Would Aaron have folded like a cheap suit?
Kind of like your guy against Nick Foles. Just the previous week, Nick Foles, that's Nicky. Little darling Nicky. Did that to your guy. The guy that got 6 Super Bowls with 6 game-winning drives. So, in other words, what you're telling me, Nick Foles and Eli Manning has impacted Tom Brady's legacy. So now we got to look at them. Because where are we putting Eli and Nick Foles in the pantheon of great quarterbacks? Because where are we ranking Eli in the pantheon? Where is Nick Foles? Those guys beat Tom Brady?
He has been the magic man in the postseason. He's been extraordinary. Yep.
I mean, Ali didn't lose to no guy that wasn't world champs, did he? I mean, late in his career, I think Trevor Burbick beat him, but come on, Skip.
So here's some of Aaron Rodgers' playoff losses, not regular season playoff. He lost to Eli at home 37-20. He lost at San Francisco 45-31 in 2012. At Atlanta, NFC Championship game 44-21. At San Francisco last year, obviously, it was 37-20. Wipe out, wipe out, wipe out, wipe out.
Let that sink in.
Brady doesn't do that.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Skip Bayless just read off of some of the playoff scores in which Aaron Rodgers has lost. In other words, his defense, let this sink in. Aaron Rodgers' defenses in the games that he's lost are worse than the Cowboys are currently. Let that sink in for just a second. They're giving up 37 points a game. The Cowboys are only giving up 36. Let that sink in for just a second. I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't going to touch it.
Let this sink in. Shannon Sharp just changed the subject as usual.
No.
Yep.
You brought it up saying Aaron Rodgers got outgunned 37 points. The defense. So I'm just saying Aaron Rodgers' defense in the playoffs have been worse than the Cowboys. And we know how bad the Cowboys are.
When the going gets tough, Aaron gets going home to get him another finger of scotch or tequila. What is it, 4, 5, or 6 fingers?
All your guy do is just yell at people.
He goes home.
Your guy just yell at people. That's leadership.
Yeah.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not, Skip. You know it.
Suddenly turned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into the New England Patriots. 0 penalties, 0 turnovers, 0 sacks. Way to go.
Oh, what a front run.
Yep.
That was a front run. But when they were Chicago, why were they 0 penalties? What's going on, Skip? 0 turn. What's going on?
I didn't see any Hingle McCringleberry the rest of that game. I didn't see one.
It's coming. It's coming.
It should be.
It's coming.
They got something. Any of these other teams, he just lights them up.
Oh, you know Vegas. You know what? Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But it's going to be televised. This time, the revolution will be televised.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they got the Texans who gave up 600 yards, so I think he should put
I ain't talking about the Texans. I'm talking about your team. I'm talking about the Bucs.
My team.
Yeah, they're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas will not stay in Vegas this time. Yes.
Okay. I like my team's chances.
I like the Vegas. I like old John Gruden get ready.
Do you?
Oh, you know. He got bad blood. Oh, Tampa fired you, John. You remember that? They got you up out of there. Oh, he ain't ready.
Well, he actually won a Super Bowl.
They still got him up out of there. Rolled him right up out of there during the season, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he did it with Tony Dungy's talent.
And
you have little to no respect for John Gruden until this Sunday when you'll be rooting like man.
He was my brother's position coach, but he got something for y'all.
Right now to cheer for.
No mercy.
After losing 2 fumbles in the Cowboys' 28-point blowout loss to the Cardinals, Ezekiel Elliott was quick to accept responsibility, telling reporters, "I'm sorry, this one is on me. I need to be better for this team." So, Shannon, did you like how Zeke accepted blame here?
I did. Skip, he's the leader of the team, and that's what leaders do. They accept responsibility when they don't play well. Normally, you get a lot of praise when you win and you play well. So you have to be willing to take blame and criticism when you don't play well. But because I think the biggest thing is, Skip, Zeke knows that where his defense is right now, he can ill afford to turn the football over. And he gave the Cardinals 2 short fields, and his defense isn't good enough. Skip, I remember in 2000 when I was on that Ravens team with that great defense, we would turn the ball over, and we'd come off the field head down. So don't worry about it. They're not going to score. They're going to punt it right back to you. So get over there, and guess what? 3 plays later, they're punting the ball right back to us. Dallas is not like that. Zeke cannot turn the ball over. At least make them drive and make them drive 80 yards, 90 yards. And therefore, there's a likelihood they could possibly fumble. You get a deflection, even though you don't take the ball away. But you put somebody on a 27-yard field. You put somebody on a 40-yard field, Skip. At worst case, they get 1 first down. They're in field goal range. And so Zeke, I like what I'm seeing with Zeke. I like the maturity of saying, yep, this was on me. I gagged this one off. I put my team in harm's way. I let them get out to an early lead, knowing they're going to be playing with a lot of intensity, knowing that this is a good football team, Skip. They're a good football team. And you don't want to give that kind of team. They're a young football team. Now, they got some skilled players. They got D-Hop and they got Fitz. But offensively, you look at Kyler, you look at Kenyon Drake. They got some Christian Kirk. There's some young guys. So the one thing you don't want to do is let them get going early. Make them feel bad about themselves. Like, nah, this is going to be one of... Next thing, you turn the ball over, it's 7-0, 14-0, 21. You're like, boom. Okay, there goes that. Andy Dalton ain't Dak Prescott. Whatever you might think of Dak, Andy Dalton has never been and ain't gonna never be as good as Dak Prescott. I don't care what anybody says.
I agree with that.
And all this notion, they can move on from Dak Prescott and get a friendly deal with Andy Dalton, Jerry Jones would be out of his mind. Andy Dalton can take him anywhere that he wants to go. So I love that Zeke did this. He's absolutely right. He needs to play better. He's going to wear that hat because he's an ultimate professional and knows he must accept responsibility because when things go well, he normally gets a lot of the credit.
I hate to say this, but I cannot tell you how much I disagree with everything you just said.
Oh, you don't think he should have done it?
I'll admit, I'll disqualify myself. I'm an angry fan right now. I am a fan, but I am an angry fan. I wanted to see an ounce of anger from the de facto leader of the team. It was Dak, now it's Zeke.
Right.
He's the best player on the team, left on the team.
Right.
It was too easy what he did after the game. It's like, ho-hum, yeah, you got me. I fumbled, and I can't do that. I got to fix that. That's the attitude it came across.
Tell me what you wanted him to do.
I wanted to see authentic, genuine anger. I wanted to see urgency. I wanted somebody to vow this will not happen again. And
They'd be lying.
It will start Sunday at the Washington football team.
They'd be lying, Skip.
He wouldn't be lying. But the problem is he got his money. And I haven't seen that Zeke I used to know and love since he got his money. I'm just telling you, he ain't what he used to be. You keep saying, they got to run the football.
Run it, Skip.
The offense has to run through Ezekiel Elliott, number 21.
But, Skip, they got
to be the bell cow.
Well, they got me, you, and Jenny blocking for him, so how the hell you expect him to get some yards?
That is a problem.
You see the cat blocking for it?
Okay. But if you look at what's happening, he has now gone 6 games this year without even sniffing 100 yards. That's the longest stretch of his career.
91, didn't he have...
Longest stretch of his career.
Oh, yeah.
Without 100. And I'm going to remind everybody, his rookie year, he averaged 109 a game, which led the league. And then his second year, he averaged 98, which led, and he averaged 96 his third year, which led the league. And then it fell off to 85, and now it's all the way down at 69 yards a game. That ranks 16th in the NFL. His yards per rush has fallen to 4.1. That ranks 32nd in the NFL. This is the guy you gave $15 million to.
Right.
Right?
But, Skip, see, I think what you want to see those big runs that Derrick Henry be trucking off at 260 pounds. That's what you want from Zeke.
Thank you for bringing that up. Derrick Henry currently is averaging 118 a game, and he had, what, 202 the other day?
212.
212, yeah. 118 a game for Derrick Henry, 69 for Zeke. It's just not right. Something's missing here, and it's too easy for him because he got paid. He got his upfront money. He got his guaranteed money. It's too easy to go in and say, y'all got me. You know, yeah, you got me. I can't do that. I got to go fix this. And he goes home and he's got his money and everything's good.
I think it's bothered him, Skip. But you have to understand there's a difference between Tennessee and Dallas. Tennessee is committed. Mike Vrabel is committed to running the football. Are the Cowboys really committed? I think they want to fall back on the run now that they don't have Dak. But are they committed? And now you look at, Skip, look at the guys he got blocking for him. You already said it. The guys that's blocking shouldn't even be in the game.
No. All 5 of them should not be in the game. So I'll give you a little break there. But I'm talking about as the team leader, I'd like to see an ounce of fury where you're just sick and tired of this and you go express that to the media. This is unacceptable.
I know. What I want to see, I want the defensive guys to say, I'm sick and tired of this. And we are not going to let somebody come in here or we're going to go to their building and give up 30 plus. How many times you going to give up 30, Skip? At what point in time, okay, where's D-Law? Where's Jalen Smith? Where are those guys that's going to say enough is enough? I've had it up to here. I'm done with it.
I told you before, under the great Tom Landry, those players dreaded the film sessions after something like this.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to take drugs to anesthetize themselves just to get through the film. This is back in the 60s and 70s.
Well, Mike Shanahan was like that. We played bad, Skip. I was like, okay, put your turtle shell on.
Yeah, you better. You're going to get it in front of everybody.
Yes.
And it's going to get run back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Here it is again.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. You rewinded it. I didn't make the same mistake twice. That's a rewind. Can you move on?
Under the great Jimmy Johnson, you would have feared for your job after a debacle like this.
Absolutely.
You would have feared the worst because it was going to be hellfire and damnation right between your eyes from Jimmy.
Because
he was a hurricane waiting to happen. Then we've had this parade of milquetoasty coaches leading all the way up to the bullfrog Mike McCarthy. It's just nobody fears Mike McCarthy. He seems as lost as anybody else in the locker room right now. There's not going to be a shakeup. Who's he going to demote?
Shake what?
You've got the equivalent of backups playing all over the football.
Exactly.
Okay, so I needed somebody to show some anger, starting with Ezekiel Elliott, because I think he's got some pride. Anger equals pride. You don't get mad unless you're proud.
Yeah, unless you,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what sparks your anger.
The more you care, the more it hurts.
Yeah, and I wanted to see some backlash from the football team last night, starting with Zeke, and I got,
Skip, he's not a fire and brimstone type of guy. Would I've approached it differently? Yes, but I'm a different type of guy than he is. Zeke is like, I messed up. This is on me. I ain't putting this at no one else's feet, even though our defense is terrible. This is on me. I cannot put our defense in harm's way, knowing that they're struggling right now and they need the offense to possess. The offense need to possess the ball like Kansas City possessed the ball against Buffalo. They need a 37-minute time of possession and limit the defense being on the field.
Yep.
Because right now, teams, like you said, the Cowboys got the easiest schedule. And I told you the other day, I said, Skip, teams are looking at it like, oh, we got the Cowboys on our schedule. Oh, that's 30. Whatever's ailing us, we're going to break out of it. We can't run the ball. They gave up 300 and a 260. We can't throw the ball. They gave up 3+ to Russell Wilson.
Yep.
So whatever's wrong with your defense, your offense, Cowboys defense will cure it.
Okay, here's my final frustration with Ezekiel Elliott. They're throwing him the football at a high rate. He's third on the team in targets. Last night, he had the most targets. He had 11 in that game, and he caught 8 for a grand total of 31 yards.
No, Skip.
Do you realize Zeke has the second most targets among running backs to, this is obvious, Kamara?
Yeah.
Okay, Kamara makes you pay.
Yeah.
When you throw it to him, it's a big gain waiting to happen.
Skip, Zeke can catch the ball, but that's Kamara's game.
Okay.
That's
so
Christian McCaffrey's type game.
So they've thrown it to him 45 times, Kamara. Zeke's been targeted 43 times. But Kamara, he runs wild when he catches the football, and Zeke ranks 31st among qualified receivers. He's 6.4 per catch.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't make you pay.
No.
Last night, I kept thinking a little flip to him could result in 20 or 30 yards. Nope. He gets run down quickly and easily. I don't see the breakaway. I don't see the big play waiting to happen. And I don't see enough anger about it after the game.
Skip, but you think about it. But you look at the plays that they had, Skip. They ran 84 plays and got 10 points. 84!
Look how many more plays they ran than Tyler did, right?
Yes, like 20-something, right?
Yeah.
30, maybe 30.
Yeah, right? 84 to what?
84 to 60. 24 more plays.
24 more plays, and they went nowhere slowly.
But, Skip, if you think about it, even that last drive, they got a touchdown. Skip, it took them over 6 minutes to go 70 yards. Bro, y'all need to hurry that thing up.
Yep, I got it.
Oh, hey, man, your day coming. Oh, your day coming. Oh, it's gonna get worse before it gets better in 2021 for you.
I, for one, am angry.
That's not very nice. To say anything's going to get worse in 2021.
Oh, it's going to get better. Oh, yeah, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse for Skip.
We can't get worse around here. Come on.
Yeah, it's going to get worse for him.
Come on.
No mercy.
Tonight, game one of the World Series as rookie sensation Randy Arozarena leads the Rays against Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, and the Dodgers. After a pair of wild 7-game championship series, both teams have their sights set on the Fall Classic tonight, 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox. And guys, it is finally here. How excited are you to watch tonight?
I'm very excited. I think we're just going to keep it going. We're going to stop Tampa because, you know, they're feeling good.
Who's we?
Yeah.
The Dodgers.
Oh, you're a we now with the
Yeah,
Dodgers.
because the Dodgers, I'm in L.A. now. Actually, I'm a Yankees fan. But here's the thing. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup. And we do not want the Rays to win the World Series because then Tampa goes, it's our year.
Yep.
It's our year. Brady going to do it.
Here come the Buccaneers.
It ain't happening.
Go, Dodgers, go. I told you I covered the Garvey Say Lopes sort of Dodgers of the 1970s,
Yes.
and I can't help it. It won me over. I grew up a St. Louis Cardinals fan, but a portion of me still wears a Dodger hat around town because I do love Dodger blue.
All right, Kershaw. You get a reprieve.
Yep.
Now, we need you to be Kershaw in the regular season, in the postseason.
And it's only game one, so it's not.
Ain't no game one. I need him to be Clayton Kershaw, the 3-time Cy Young winner and the National League MVP. That's the guy I need.
Yeah, fair enough. And I, as well, Skip, even wear my Dodgers hat around. So, yes, I'm rooting for him. We're all going for the Dodgers. And, hey, it starts tonight. Going to be fantastic. Reminder, 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Be sure to check it out. We all will be. I want to get back to this, though. The Patriots are preparing to face the 49ers this weekend, and New England coach Bill Belichick had high praise for San Francisco tight end George Kittle ahead of the matchup. Belichick lauded Kittle's abilities to run, catch, and block, going as far as to say, quote, he's as good as anybody that I've coached or as good as anybody that we've played against. Strong words from someone who coached future Hall of Famer Rob Gronkowski for years. So, Shannon, is this a shot at our guy Gronk?
No, it's not. And Gronk is historically great, and I said I believe he's the best tight end to ever play the game. But Coach Belichick is absolutely right. This kid does the same makeup as Gronk. Now, he moves more freely and more effortlessly than Gronk. But if you look at the first 3 years, Kittle has 216 catches, over 2,900 yards, 12 touchdowns. Excuse me. Gronk has 187 catches, over 2,600 yards, 38 touchdowns. Now, the only guy that could score the football like Gronk was Antonio Gates. Gonzo could score the football like that. But Gates, nobody could score the football like Gates.
You're talking about Tony Gonzalez.
Antonio Gates. Who,
but Gonzo's
Tony Gonzalez. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm calling people their people. I know I'm on a different level. So Antonio Gates from the Chargers could score the ball like, and that was one of the things. Like, man, watching this guy score, I was like, man, I wish I could score like that. Kittle can't score the football like Gronk, but as far as he's complete like Gronk, Gronk can dominate in the run game. So could Kittle. They both was great run after the catch, although I think Kittle's a little better run after the catch. But Skip, this is no hyperbole. Coach Belichick has been around the game. He also was on the staff where they had Mark Bavaro. And Mark Bavaro was a dominant run blocker who could catch the football, was great after the catch, who had a stretch before he got injured. So Coach Belichick has coached against Antonio Gates. He's coached against Gonzalez. He's coached against like myself. And so for him to say this, he's seen it. And he's not lying, Skip. This kid is good. This kid is as good as we have or we've ever had in the league at that position. This is no hyperbole. This is no shot at Gronk. Gronk is historically great. He's a member of the all-century team. But this kid is legit. When I say he's legit, take it from a guy that played this position for 14 years. He is legit.
He is legit. But this was a shot at Gronk. You know it, and I know it. And it was not coincidental timing. What happened Sunday?
They play him.
Two things happened. No, but what just happened this past Sunday? While Tom Brady was reviving the career of Rob Gronkowski down in Tampa against Aaron Rodgers and the vaunted Green Bay defense, a team that you said was the best team in the NFC. And it was mostly Brady to Gronk. 5 big catches for 78 yards that turned the tide in that game. So it was GOAT to GOAT, because you've admitted he is the GOAT of tight ends, Rob Gronkowski. Yeah. While that was going on it had already happened up in New England, Cam and company lost 18-12. Tom's old number up there, obviously, same number he still wears in Tampa, but it was 18-12. And it was pretty humiliating for Coach Belichick because wait a second, they gave up 135 yards rushing to Denver, and the offense totaled 288 yards. Not exactly the good old days.
Right.
And they lost to a 1-3 Denver team at home, 18-12. I think that stung him as deep as you can sting, and so he knows exactly what he's doing. And to say he's as good as anybody that I've coached it's just completely disrespectful to Rob Gronkowski. He did it at the highest level. He did it in Super Bowl.
But Skip, so hold on, let me ask you a question. So if I took Kittle and I say, okay, I'm gonna give you 10 years of Tom Brady, and I'm gonna say, Gronk, you got C.J. Beathard, you got Mullen, and you got Garoppolo. Who you taking?
Well, Gronk's already been there and done all that.
Exactly. That's my point. Look what this guy's doing it with. That's why we gave DeAndre Hopkins so much credit. We say, okay, Julio, you're unbelievable. I still believe Julio's the best. You got Matt Ryan, Michael Thomas. You got Drew Brees.
I'm talking about the highest level of competition. Do you remember just a couple of years back, overtime at Kansas City, AFC title game?
Yes.
3 straight 3rd and 10 conversions. Brady threw 2 of them. The last 2 went to Rob Gronkowski.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes.
And then what happened in the subsequent Super Bowl that year against the Rams? Game-winning drive in the 4th quarter.
Yes.
And I think 3 of those passes went to Rob Gronkowski. And the big one was the 29-yarder down to the 2-yard line that won the game.
Skip, I would love to, and Kittle played in one Super Bowl. They lost. But this kid is as advertised. If you watch him on tape and you watch the way he runs and the fluidity in which he runs with, and you watch how he can dominate in the run game, and that's what Coach Belichick sees when he talks about this kid, is that what he saw with Gronk. Gronk could dominate in the run game. Now, this kid moved with more fluidity. Gronk is a little more lumbersome.
He is.
Than this kid. This kid is fluid.
And I know this kid will block, but he can't block like Gronk. Gronk is like an extra offensive lineman. He is really good.
No, Skip.
Powerful.
This kid is legit. This kid, hey, I'm telling you, Skip, I promise you, he's every bit the equal of Rob Gronkowski. He doesn't have the accolades, Skip. He doesn't have the 3 Super Bowls and things of that nature. Skip, this kid is legit. I promise, Skip, I promise he is legit.
I got that, but he hasn't been there and done all of that.
No, but Coach Belichick is not saying it. Coach says he's as good as anybody I've coached or been around. He's saying when I watch him on tape, and I look at the things that he's doing, he's every bit as good. See, sometimes, Skip, we get caught up and says, well, if the guy doesn't have a championship, he's not any good. That's bulljive. That kid there is for real, for real.
Okay, I got that. But it's disrespectful for him not to say it a different way because...
I ain't supposed to say it.
You have to acknowledge that you did coach the widely acclaimed GOAT tight end.
So if he said, I coach Gronk,
you have to say...
And the guy is every bit as good, you're going to say, see, he's taking a shot at it.
No. You simply say it differently. You say it, but he knows exactly what he's very calculated. He'd already thought this through. He knew what was going to come because it was going to take some of the onus and focus off that stinker that happened up at New England when they fell to, what are they now, 2-3? Is that what New England is?
Yep.
2-3 versus 4-2 Tampa that suddenly looks like the best team in the NFC versus a team that's going to struggle to win its division in the wake of Brady and Gronk up in New England.
I give you
go ahead. You have to say, we all know that Rob Gronkowski played this position at the highest level and helped us win Super Bowls here. I don't know, you could argue whether he helped win 2 or 3 Super Bowls.
Well, one of them, Atlanta, he didn't even play.
That's correct.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
And the Wes Welker one, where Wes dropped the ball, he tried to play on the bum ankle.
Ankle, yes.
Except then he danced after the game, which was not that
cool. Was not a good look.
Okay. So you have to acknowledge what that man achieved because this sounds like this guy's as good as Gronk, right? And it's dismissive.
Okay. Wade Phillips, I know Wade very well. And here's some of the guys that Wade has coached. J.J. Watt, who's a defensive player of the year 3 times. Bruce Smith has won it twice. Reggie White's won it twice. Aaron Donald's won it twice. Von Miller was defensive player of the Super Bowl, MVP of the Super Bowl. Bryce Pop was defensive player of the year. Ricky Jackson is in the Hall of Fame. Now, all these guys, except Bryce Pop, will be in the Hall of Fame. They asked him about Aaron Donald. He says, Aaron Donald is as good as anybody that I've ever coached. He's coached Reggie White. Is Reggie White any good? He's coached Bruce Smith. Is he any good? He's coached J.J. Watt. He said the same thing about J.J. Watt. That's not to dismiss those guys, Skip. But when you look at it, and people ask him when he first got J.J. Watt, they say, Wade, do you think J.J. Watt's going to be a bust? He said he'll absolutely be a bust in Canton.
I heard.
That's what he's saying. So when you think about what Wade has coached, when he says this guy is as good as anybody that I've coached.
Okay, but all those guys you list, they didn't go away and come back to haunt Wade. It didn't become me versus them. What's the biggest storyline of this NFL season? The biggest one by far is Brady versus Belichick.
Right, yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's big advantage Brady and Gronk, obviously, in Tampa.
Even though Gronk came back, he's a footnote in the Belichick-Brady saga. You know what I'm saying? As great as he is, the storyline is that, okay, and Gronk. But the storyline is Coach Belichick and Tom Brady. Coach Belichick and Tom. And that's what it is. Because Gronk could have done what he's done. This is all about those two. And if Brady wins a Super Bowl, Gronk will win one too. But it's Brady and Belichick. It's the two Bs. Who's most responsible? Because remember, Skip, this goes back to 2001 before Gronk even got there. They've been tug of war for this. No, you, no, I.
I got it. But remember, Rob Gronkowski made the Pro Football Focus All-Pro Team of the Week.
Yes.
So he was number one.
Yes.
He was the tight end this week because he had a monster game, 5 big catches and a touchdown.
So what was Kittle? Did you see Kittle?
Yeah, he was great. He was great. Okay?
Skip, I love Gronk. I think Gronk is unbelievable. But this kid...
Kittle is on the rise. Gronk is legend.
Skip.
Legend. And it was a living legend on Sunday in Tampa. You had GOAT throwing to GOAT, taking over the game.
Skip.
You can't get much goatier than that.
Skip, when you heap praise on someone else, that doesn't mean you diminish the other person.
Okay, but there's a way to say that.
How?
You know it and I know it. He wanted to take a little... He knows exactly... He's as calculated a speaker to the media as there has ever been. He thinks it through. He thinks of every question that could be asked, and he has his stock on to Cincinnati answers, unless he wants to gush about somebody, and there's always method to the madness and the gushing.
He'll gush about Mahomes. He said the kid is as talented as anybody ever. He is. He ain't lying. You want him to lie. He did not lie. He didn't take a shot at Gronk. We know Gronk is historically great. Gronk is a transcendent tight end. But, Skip, this kid is on his way. Now, he might not get the act. He might not have the Super Bowls.
Here's the painful irony of this.
What?
Did Belichick ever rave about Gronk while he had him like this?
He doesn't.
Nope, he doesn't do that. Did he ever rave about Tom Brady while he had him? The way he raves about my homeboy.
He raved about Cam.
He raves about Cam in ways he never raved about Tom Brady.
Yeah, he don't want you to get a big head.
Really?
You know, that's what happened. Y'all get the big head, and I start gushing. Because you have to understand, when it comes to filling out all-time ballots as far as players and coaches and what coach they always go to? That guy.
So Tom Brady played the AFC Championship game against Jacksonville with 20 stitches in the palm of his throwing hand from an injury he suffered the Wednesday before. Not exactly open heart surgery, right? Not exactly open heart. Are you kidding? It's close.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's pretty for a quarterback playing in the AFC Championship game. It's
I'm going to do it like you always tell me. If Tom Brady says that Tom Brady does it, I'm going to take it to my bank. If Coach Belichick says it, I'm going to take it to the old Shannon Sharp bank.
Okay.
Well, it's cryptocurrency, untraceable.
You be the gullible. You can swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
Stop thinking that every time Coach Belichick says something, he's taking a shot at Brady or he's taking a shot at Gronk.
Hey, what they did Sunday, that hurt Bill Belichick.
Skip, they won the game.
Stung him right to the core.
So what about the week? What about when they won and what about they won opening week and y'all guys lost? Did that sting?
I told you it's going to be week to week. Advantage Belichick, advantage Brady and Gronk.
Yeah, I love to see, finally, the Gronk-Tom connection, you know, the celebration. He said he admitted he needed some work there with the spike, but, hey, he's back.
I think he hurt his arm or something.
He's a good player. He's a good teammate around here.
Well, he said it was...
Because he normally spikes it with his right.
Oh, he did? He went left hand?
Yeah.
It was a little off, but he got the touchdown. That's what matters, guys.
No mercy.
The Cowboys' first game without Dak Prescott couldn't have gone much worse as Dallas got blown out 38-10 by Arizona last night. Andy Dalton threw 2 interceptions while he tried to keep the Cowboys afloat, and his only touchdown of the night came in garbage time with less than 3 minutes left. Dalton could never find any rhythm pushing the ball down the field, finishing with less than 5 yards per pass attempt. So, Shannon, can you please give Andy Dalton a letter grade for me?
You know what he gets, Skip?
What?
F.
Gets an F?
F. I can't even give him incomplete, say he's something to build on. No.
Well, then he's in good company because you gave Dak Fs down the stretch. You gave him 7 in the last 13 games last year.
At least Dak would come back and make it look respectable, make you think you had a chance to win. At no point in time, Skip, when that game was 14-0, you thought Andy Dalton was going to bring that team back. At least Dak gave you hope. You're like, I got a warrior. I got a guy that can bring it back. Because you've seen him. You saw what he did against Atlanta. We've seen him come back and win a few of these games, but we've also seen him come. But I'm looking at Andy Dalton, Skip, he was terrible. And there's such a huge drop-off between Dak Prescott and Andy Dalton. Now people are getting up here, oh, Dak. Skip, this is terrible. What was he? 34 or 54 for 260. You mean to tell me you threw the ball 54 times and you didn't even get 300 yards? Even after the fact. But I love the fact that Vance Joseph, who was a former head, hopefully he gets another opportunity to crack at being a head coach. Skip, they didn't back off. They kept bringing pressure. They up 21-3, they up 28-3. I don't care. I'm coming. I'm going to make you make decisions quickly. Skip, I just think, for me, there's a big reason why Andy Dalton played 13 games last year. The Cincinnati Bengals were in position to get the #1 overall draft pick. That happened under Andy Dalton's watch. So this notion that all of a sudden Andy Dalton is going to be something that really we haven't seen in, 4 or 5 years. We talk about, okay, his first couple of years, first 3 or 4 years, Skip, he was double-digit wins. What was he the last 3 or 4 years? Double-digit losses. Okay, that's it. That's who he is. So to think this notion that all of a sudden Andy Dalton is going to be this lifesaver, Skip, he's a guy that if Dak were to miss a game or 2, he could fill in. But now Dak is gone for the rest of the season, and you're asking Andy Dalton, bro, I need you to, no, I don't see that happening. Andy Dalton is who I thought he was, and I'm not surprised this was the outcome that you got.
I will give you this. Andy Dalton is not Dak Prescott. I've said that from the start. But what I will not give you is this. Andy Dalton is not bad. He is not terrible.
He's not good. So what are you in the middle?
He's pretty good. And by the way, I actually thought under the circumstances, I got to get a new TV, but I thought he was pretty good last night.
Skip, he threw 2 picks.
I was actually pretty happy. Well, the first pick was not a pick. It was a tackle. Drake Kirkpatrick tackled.
And it was a pick.
Well, okay, does it count?
Yes.
Yes, it counts. Was it a pick? No, it was not. Was it a bad idea by Andy Dalton? It was not.
He should have had 3. The linebacker dropped another one right in his hands.
Okay, that was early.
Yes.
The first series.
Yes.
He double clutched and didn't have a hold of the football and just slipped completely out of his hand.
And your guy, Skip, he stared the guy down. On that first.
On Buda Baker's interception, he didn't stare him down. That was a hellacious break on the ball.
Skip.
Nobody breaks on the ball better than that kid does.
Skip,
Nobody.
Here's the thing. On the other 4th down play that they went to try to go to, I think it was Amari Cooper, the safety was jumping up and down because he knew he should have jumped on it just like Buda did the play before. That's what he should have done. And he froze. Buda Baker didn't miss his chance.
So let's put these circumstances back in perspective.
Okay.
Andy Dalton was playing behind an offensive line featuring all backups all the way across the ball, including both tackles, undrafted free agents, one a rookie, one in his second year. They don't even belong in the league, and they're starting at tackle for Ty Smith and Lyle Collins. It's outrageously wrong and impossibly hard to throw Andy Dalton into that fire on Monday Night Football with Vance Joseph just bringing the house at him from all angles nearly every play.
What did Pat P say?
And you know what? You know what? I thought Andy Dalton showed amazing escapability. He should have been sacked 8 or 9 times away. Remember what happened to Dak at Atlanta in 2017 when he went down again and again and again and again because of the
suspension, and then they had the left tackle without Tyron Smith.
What was his name? Chaz Green. It's painful.
He got Claiborne paid.
Yeah, got him paid. Well, okay, did that happen last night? No, that did not happen. He must have escaped 5 sacks where I said, oh, he's gone down. He's gone down. Even the first little flip to Zeke. I thought he was dead to rights, and he somehow got the ball to Zeke, and I thought he's gone for 20, and he gets stripped.
Okay, but let me ask you,
Buddha.
I just want to know one thing. Bruce Gradkowski, can you tell me the grade that you gave Andy Dalton this week? Because last week you said you gave him the #1 grade. He played the best quarterback in the NFL.
Well, he did. He went 9 for 11 for 111 yards.
Okay, what's his grade this week?
You know what? Dallas could be winless without the one because they stole the Atlanta game.
Right.
He stole it back against the Giants. He went 72 yards in 5 plays for the chip shot field goal.
And what did I tell you?
And that was with 52 seconds left.
And what did I tell you? I said the easiest job the quarterback will have is to come off the bench when the team has taken no reps preparing for you. Vance Joseph got an opportunity to prepare for Andy Dalton.
I'm giving Andy Dalton a B.
A B?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they lost 38-10.
Under these circumstances, how about this? He went 6 for 15 on 3rd down. That's pretty great when you have no offensive line.
Hold on, Skip. Okay, what was he on 1st down before the score got out of hand?
Well, what was he on 4th down? How about 3 for 3 on 4th down?
Skip, you're down 38. You're down 31-3.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Was it his fault? Who dug him the hole? The best player on the field, number 21, dug him a hole and gave Arizona 2 short field touchdowns to make it 14-0.
I'm trying to figure out. So when the score is 14, okay, Zeke turned the ball over, it's 14-0. Can you tell the people at home, Andy Dalton, what did he do after that? So the score somehow got to be 21-3.
Yep.
Okay, so 28-3. What was Andy Dalton doing?
He actually drove them pretty well, but they kept going backwards. Penalties, bad plays, bad mistakes.
Was he out there?
Yeah, he was out there. Wasn't it like a 10-play drive that they had to punt on?
Got nothing.
Yep. And then what happened on the very next play? 80 yards.
You know, it's like your girl, I'm going shopping, and you come back with nothing. I thought you was going shopping. He did all that long driving, 14 plays, 16 plays, and got nothing. Yep. You mean to tell me you've been gone for 4 hours and you come back with nothing?
That was like 4 hours of shopping on Rodeo Drive.
Exactly.
Right?
So he go up and down the field, and you got 10 points, Skip, and you gonna get this man a B? How you... I
was impressed. I actually was.
You got in the right profession because had you been a college professor, there'd be a lot of kids out here with degrees that ain't got no business with them because you just passing people to get them the hell out of your class. You just passed that man because he played for your team.
Well, trust me, I didn't have any of those professors in college. Maybe you did.
I did not.
You were an athlete. I was not.
I was not. Yep. As a matter of fact, you asked my teammates, I did my girlfriend's homework while you talking.
Really?
Yeah, I was like that.
We always make fun of yourself.
No, I was not in college. They tell you I did her homework.
Really?
Sure did.
Did she pass?
Yeah, she passed. And when I went to the league, I paid for her to stay in school, go to school.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
They might say a lot of things about Shannon, but they won't say Shannon ain't generous and nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I do that. I did that.
Huh. Well, I don't know how. I came from a little public high school in Oklahoma City, and I was cum laude at Vanderbilt.
Well,
I don't know how I did that.
Well, I came.
It was hard.
I had 63 people in my graduating class.
Yep.
And I graduated, thank you, Lordy.
Which was what?
I don't know. I might have been 62.
Really?
But I got that degree. I got that paper. I got the diploma.
Was that because you just didn't try?
Nah, I didn't try.
Okay.
I didn't take no books home. I ain't need no books.
Did you not have the capability?
I had the capability, Skip. Yeah. You know me, Skip. You know, I was too cool. You know, I had to, want to tell jokes and be, I wanted to be that guy.
There you go. Yeah.
But then when I got to college, all the pretty girls were in class. So what good me being in my room watching The Price is Right or As the World Turned, Young and the Restless, there ain't no girls there. I had to go to class. I'd be in the front, too. Had my briefcase, nice little blazer.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm a tough grader, and I give Andy Dalton a B.
I give him an F.
B.
No mercy. Somewhat lost in the Cowboys' lackluster showing was Kyler Murray's 3-touchdown performance. Despite completing less than half of his passes, Kyler's full skill set was on display last night, from his 80-yard deep touchdown pass to Christian Kirk to his 74 rushing yards on a combination of design runs and scrambles. So, Shannon, is Kyler capable of winning a Super Bowl?
Skip, I saw some good things I liked last night, but I still needed to see more. I don't think he played particularly well, Skip, as far as throwing the football. He was 9 of 22, and for whatever reason, it seemed like he and D-Hop couldn't get on the same page. He had Larry Fitzgerald wide open in the corner of the end zone, Skip, and he overshot him by like 10 feet. So there's some, and when you look at him, he threw 3 interceptions in a loss to the Lions. He had 133 passing yards and a loss to the Panthers. And like I said, last night he did not play particularly well, although he had some highlight plays. So he's young. He needs to get more consistent because he can throw the football. He just needs to get more consistent throwing the football. So to project out, I think he's only going to get better. They'll continue to surround him with talent. I say there's an 80% chance that, but Skip, the talent level, Mahomes is going to be, Mahomes is here. Now, the thing is that you're going to get the Breeze in the next year. Breeze is probably going to go away. The next year or two, Tom Brady's going to go away. So that's going to increase, Brady kept somebody, those guys, keep a stranglehold on NFC titles. Well, not Brady's in the NFC. So I'm going to say there's an 80% chance, Skip. But I'm not really saying, oh, absolutely, slam dunk, because I still need to see the consistency, the consistent throwing the football. I don't see that on a consistent basis enough for me to say definitively, yes. Like when we asked Mahomes, we asked this question a couple years ago, I was like, absolutely, Skip. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm not there with this kid yet.
Absolutely, there is no doubt in my mind he is capable, Kyler Murray, of winning a Super Bowl. I have been on board from the start, from his days at the University of Oklahoma. You have been skeptical from the start. You have come around a little bit, grudgingly, inch by inch.
That running, Skip, I'm surprised. But the thing is that what I saw, he's not going to let you get no hit on him. If you get close to him, he's like, okay, I give up.
That is correct. Most electric feat I've seen since Barry Sanders. That's what I said when he was at OU. Also, incredibly clutch and tough-minded in the clutch. And listen, without his best receiver, Hollywood Brown, in that Orange Bowl national semifinal against St. Nick's defense, I'm going to remind you, he threw for 308 and 2 touchdowns and ran 17 times for 109 yards. So that's 417 total against St. Nick's. Well, again, Saban's defense tends to give up a lot of yards sometimes, even though they'll outscore you, which they did that night. And it was basically a mismatch because OU's defense was all-time bad.
It still is.
It still is. But the point is, his arm isn't just good, it's big. For such a small man, and I always love Cliff Kingsbury's line, he's been small all his life. It's not like he just woke up today and he's like, I'm too small.
He's always I shrank the kid.
He went 42-0 in high school and won 3 state championships playing small.
And he looked just like it. He's running around. I'm watching the clips, and he's looking the exact same in high school as he looked on the NFL field.
Okay, same way. They are utilizing his quick feet more this year than they did last year. And what I do love about him is what you point out. He was simply the 9th overall pick in the baseball draft by the Oakland A's, Billy Beane, the great Billy Beane, friend of mine, and they wanted him badly because they thought he could be a star, a Gold Glove center fielder who could steal bases. Not Billy doesn't love stolen bases, but who could run on the base pass, who could make things happen with his legs, with his feet, and big arm and big bat, had power at OU, showed power. So he's a little power plant of a man who gets how to slide. He like the thing that just haunted me about Robert Griffin III was he never could figure out how to get down. How do you actually put your feet first and slide to a stop? Because the rules are rigged to protect you, Robert. Just go down.
And you look at the guys, Skip, that played baseball. Look at Russell Wilson. He get it instantly. You look at Kyler Murray. They get it instantly.
Yeah, and they drop so fast where he gives himself up in a heartbeat where there's not even a threat of, should I finish this or not? There's no finish to the play. The defense is just like, we're out. You gave yourself completely up in a heartbeat. So I told you that I only saw him for a year at University of Oklahoma, but I never saw him, and Jenny and I have talked about this on the show, never saw him put himself in harm's way where you said, ooh, Kyler, you can't do that. Because I'll see some quarterbacks, they just can't get it through their head. You can't do that. You're not going to last long.
I think, Skip, he's like, you know what? at 5'7", whatever it is, 5'7", 5'8", maybe 200 pounds. He's like, man, look here. I'm not trying to run over anybody. And I'm not going to let these big D linemen land on top of me because that's just as bad as taking a shot. 300 pounds falling on a man that size. So you saw last night, Skip, he could have come out the backside. He said, no, I'm good.
I agree.
I get you on third down.
That is true. Yet he's built stout.
He is.
Where he can take whatever punishment he does have to take in the pocket if he gets sacked. And he is now leading all quarterbacks in rush yards with 320. That's 7.3 per pop. That's pretty good. Every time you take off, if you can get me 7 yards, we're going to win, man, right? And
the gadgets, Skip, he's a magician with the ball.
He is.
I mean, he's fake. I mean, because he can handle the ball with either hand, you see him, he fake with this hand, and now he got the ball in the bootleg coming out the left side with his left hand.
Then he faked the toss reverse and caught it himself, okay? Right?
He was unbelievable last night.
He leads all quarterback with 6 rushing touchdowns, so he is going to be a fantasy phenom.
Yes.
Right?
So for the next 5-7 years, he and Lamar Jackson go back and forth. Okay, because he might get 1,000 yards rushing, Skip.
He might. Listen, that he has a lightning release. The throwing ability is beyond Lamar's throwing ability.
Yeah, no question about that.
And again, as it evolved, but now that he's got D-Hop and all those other, Christian Kirk and Isabella could fly, and all of a sudden you're saying, oh, now he's got some weapons.
He's like, they were off. I mean, D-Hop had a miscommunication. Isabella, they had a miscommunication. He's like, why would you break that off? And that was the same route that he hit Christian Kirk on that Isabella broke off.
It was. I don't know.
And they had it on the other side.
Agreed.
He's like, let me get somebody who will keep
When has he played biggest? Against the 49ers and the Seahawks. Just check his games out against those two teams. He will compete at the highest level.
Well, Arizona says, if I'm Arizona, if I'm the Bidwell family, I'm trying to get a Super Bowl in Dallas.
Yep.
Because if I get a Super Bowl in Dallas, I get him there. He don't lose on that field.
He does not lose in Dallas forward. I agree. No mercy.
This weekend, Big Ten football returns to Fox's Big Noon Saturday as Justin Fields, the 5th-ranked Buckeyes, take on Nebraska, where I'll be. Coverage begins with a special Big Noon kickoff pregame show live from the Shoe at 10 Eastern, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. On a night where not much worked for the Cowboys offense, rookie receiver CeeDee Lamb still wound up with 7 catches for 64 yards in the losing effort. Overall this season, Lamb has been doing his best to live up to the famed number 88 jersey, ranking top 10 in the league in both catches and receiving yards. So, Shannon, how impressive has CeeDee Lamb been? You better be honest here.
He's been fine, but he hadn't contributed to winning. I look at the Cowboys. The Cowboys were a team that couldn't pay their mortgage, but they went out and bought a new car anyway. They didn't need offensive help. It has been glaring because as great as he's been, has it contributed to them winning? Where they've been most deficient is on the defensive side of the football. It has been apparent. I get it. Skip, it's hard to pass up something because you feel you're getting such a great bargain. But how good of a bargain is it if you can't stop anyone from scoring the football? I don't see the value that CeeDee Lamb is going to give you. Now, maybe 3 or 4 years from now, you get the defensive dress and you're like, well, we got him in our folds. I get that. But right now, Skip, and if you look at his numbers, CeeDee Lamb, of his 497 receiving yards, 407 of those have come when they were behind. 82%. So.
But they've been behind the whole year.
Ta-da! Which a defensive player could have possibly helped you not be behind the whole year. That's my point, which I've been trying to tell you. Oh, you like CeeDee Lamb. I did not dislike CeeDee Lamb. I just thought what the Cowboys needed, CeeDee Lamb wasn't going to give them the value at that spot that they needed. Skip, they need defense. Their defense is atrocious. And even though he's putting up good numbers, really good numbers, they haven't contributed to the overall grand scheme of things, which is winning.
All last year, all I heard from you was, Jerry Jeudy is the best receiver in college football. Nope. I kept saying CeeDee Lamb is. So far, CeeDee has 36 catches, which lead all rookie receivers. Jerry Jeudy has 17, 36-17. I think I was right about this.
Would you concede that CeeDee Lamb had the better quarterback of the two right now? So you take Dak, or would you take Drew Lock or Driscoll or Brett Rippon?
I thought they loved Drew Lock, right?
Skip, they might love Drew Lock, but he's not Dak Prescott. Stop this.
Oh, okay.
You know that.
Well, we're going to talk about Tua, who's going to be the starter for the Dolphins. We're going to do that in a few minutes. But he had Tua, Jerry Jeudy had Tua.
Yes.
And he had Devontae Smith and
you guys had Baker Mayfield,
Ruggs, and
Heisman Trophy winner, over 1 overall pick. Kyler Murray, number 1 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner.
Jalen Hurts last year had only one receiver to throw to who got triple teamed every play, and it was CeeDee Lamb. He was ranked 6th overall on the Cowboy board. He fell to 17th. I loved it that they took him because every once in a while you strengthen your strength.
Okay.
And pretty soon he will become their best, their number 1 receiver. And I defy you to show me in this draft, if you're thinking defense, where are you going to go? Do you have a player in mind?
Move up.
Huh?
You should have moved up.
They don't have any draft capital to move up.
Yeah, they could. Hey, trade some of that for next year.
So I told you, Kayvon Chason was my next pick. It was who I was sitting on there, the edge rusher from LSU, who always leaped off the screen when I watched him. But he did go to Jacksonville, and I've been trying to track his progress, and there hasn't been much to track.
Right. Jacksonville tanking.
Okay.
Jacksonville trying to get the kid from Clemson.
So they're 1-5 is Jacksonville, and Kayvon has not started until the last 2 games. He registered 1 assisted tackle against the Texans, and against Detroit, he played 55 snaps and registered goose eggs across the board. He didn't contribute at all in 55 snaps. Well, that's no good, and he's still just a baby trying to figure his way into the league. But could he have helped in the long term? I'm sure he could have. I loved him coming out of college, but I love CD much more. And I was very happy. Jerry sat there and said, I got to do it, and it will only benefit in the long run.
Well, what about right now?
Well, do I wish I had Antoine Winfield Jr., who's lighting it up for Tampa right now at safety? Well, I do, but he went 45th, which was in the second round.
Yeah.
Okay, and 6 picks later, we got Trevon Diggs, and I think he's been pretty good.
I like Diggs. I think he's only going to get better. He will challenge. He's not afraid of the moment.
Yep.
And, I mean, being at Alabama, you're going to be in big games. You'll be in the bright lights. And so he's not in awe of this. Skip, I just thought that I understand that CeeDee Lamb is a phenomenal talent. But what you need right now, Skip, okay, he might end the season with 1,400 yards, but your defense look like it's going to end the season giving up 35 points a game.
Okay, but I thought we could just outscore everybody on our fairly easy schedule, and so far, so bad.
But see, here's the thing. That's Oklahoma. Oklahoma could do that.
That's what they do.
But
that
then,
is true.
If you have 1 turnover, and your team can't stop anybody, like when they played Alabama. They turned the ball over, and then they couldn't stop Bama. The next thing you know, it's out of hand. And that's what we're seeing with the Cowboys.
That is exactly. They sort of mirror each other.
They do, actually.
Except Oklahoma usually wins games until this year.
No mercy. The Dolphins are ready for Tua time. According to a report, Tagovailoa will start for Miami when they return from their bye week, and Ryan Fitzpatrick will be the backup. This past Sunday against the Jets, the 5th overall pick saw his first action since a hip injury cut his career at Alabama short almost a year ago. Shannon, is this a good move or a bad move?
It's a shock move for me, Skip. You and I talked about it. I think we talked about it the other day, and I said, well, Ryan Fitzpatrick is winning, and he's playing really well. I think he's 7th in QBR, and he's played extremely well over the last several weeks. So I was, and I was like, I would be shocked if they made this move, and I still am. I'm in shock that they made this move, Skip. And I understand that on the bye week gives them an extra week to prepare, and they're going to be at home when they do get back. But I'm surprised by this, considering they still have a chance to win this division.
They're game back.
But they're basically saying, nope, it's now. We're going to Tua.
Fitzmagic had just won 3 of 4 games.
Yes.
He had destroyed the 49ers with a QBR of 99, scale of 0 to 100.
Yes.
And yet I have been campaigning for them just to elevate the kid. If you spent the 5th pick on him and you say he's 100% healthy, let him play.
Right.
Maybe to the detriment of the 2020 Dolphins, but to the advantage going forward.
Right.
So he gets just a little bit of mop-up duty, throws 2 passes, 1 out of his end zone. Looked okay, and I'm also pleasantly shocked that Brian Flores said, okay, let's go with it.
Skip, I thought he could possibly see action by week 8, but it was because they were going to be doing bad, and then you would have no choice but to go to him. I didn't expect him to be 3-3 and 5th, and as you mentioned, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing unbelievable. And to make this move now, I'm surprised. But like you said, he's the 5th pick in the draft. The doctors have greenlit him, says he's 100% healthy.
What they say. My only skepticism is he was throwing to a track team of receivers at Bama because it's Judy and Ruggs and Devontae Smith is there now and Jalen Waddle and that Mechie kid. Every time I look up, he's behind somebody catching a bomb.
Yes.
Well, when you got that much firepower, it's hard to be bad, right?
It is. So they got Devontae. They still got some guys that can play. You know, Gesicki, the tight end. Yeah. They got Parker, who can make plays. They got another kid. I forget his name, a little receiver.
Yep.
Grant Hakeem.
Yeah.
Jakeem Grant. But Skip, I'm surprised by this. I really am. I really am surprised considering they're 3-3. They're game of back out of first place in the AFC East, and Fitzmagic has been playing so well. So I'm surprised by this. But Brian Flores, obviously the head coach, says, I've seen enough. The kid is ready. Let's go.
Well, he's not going to say, let's go win the East. I think he's going, let's go win the future.
I guess he believes they can win the East also, Skip. I believe he believes they can win. Skip, why else would you make this move?
I just don't think Tua's ready to win the East.
I think he's ready.
Yeah.
I think he's ready. He finna show you, but he's the best quarterback in this draft.
And considering his journey,
I doubt
back
that.
to this point when he was FaceTiming with his family, this is a big deal for Tua.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching it. It's exciting. That is it for Undisputed. Good stuff today, guys. We're back same time tomorrow morning.
Cowboys aren't good.
Undisputed.